Hello and welcome to Pro Trader Strategies Market Commentary for Friday, April the 29th. My name's Eric Wilkinson. Some of you may recognize me as the Wolfman from CNBC, Fox Business, or even the Wall Street Journal, where I've commented on everything from economic to geopolitical and market analysis. Please keep in mind that everything that we talk about in these daily market commentaries is not a solicitation to buy or sell any of these securities or strategies. At the end of the day, we're here to teach you some different strategies that you can implement into your own portfolios, but please do that in your own way. The reason why I can't give you a recommendation on a particular stock or strategy is because I don't know your risk parameters. I don't know what's in your portfolios. Therefore, what I'm doing could be counterintuitive to what you are already doing. Having that out of the way, let's get this on. A lot of economic data to go over today. We did have French GDP come in slightly higher than expected, but German retail sales came in lower than expected at negative 1.1% versus 0.3% to the upside was expected. Then we also got French CPI, which is Consumer Price Index, came in at 0.1%, right in line with expectations. French consumer spending came in slightly better than expected, which was nice to see. But on the rest of the data points, they were pretty bearish for the overall equities and the economy. CPI in Europe overall was negative 0.2%, was expected a negative 0.1%, and core CPI flash estimates were at 0.8 versus 0.9. And then we also had Italian CPI come in line with expectations. The other data points that we were seeing were in the United States here. We had core PCE come in line, or price index come in line with expectations, and personal spending came in slightly below expectations at 0.1% versus an expected 0.2%, and personal income, good to see, uptick to 0.4% versus 0.3%. Downstroke was Chicago PMI, which is Purchasing Managers Index, came in at 50.4. Above 50 is expansion, so that it was good, but it was expected to be 53.1, so a lot lower than what was expected there. And then the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment came in at 89 versus the expected 90. So all in all, a little bit lower than what was expected for the major economic data points. One thing to note here is crude oil pushing a little bit lower. Looks like it's topped out a little bit. I've been talking about this. It seems to be a little overdone to the upside. I even covered some of my short puts that were pretty much worthless. But for the most part, it looks like we could be topping out here in this crude oil, if you can see there. On to the Nasdaq. As you can see, down 71 points on the day. Still pushing lower. For the most part, we're off of the lows of the session, which were just generated probably 10 minutes ago or so, but down 71 points on the day. Onto the E-mini S&P /ES, as you can see here, down 21 and a quarter points, but off of the lows that were just generated as I was coming on to do this video. As you can see here, this was the lows of the day, but we're pushing off and away from that, down 21 points. This is the breakdown 15-minute chart. Overnight trading pretty much in a range, and then as soon as these data points came out, we started selling off. On to the trades that I've done. Tweeted this out yesterday late in the day when I put these trades on in LinkedIn. Had on the April 148 calls short, thinking that LinkedIn was not going to beat. They actually did really well on their earnings front, and last night some of the prints were up near 148 for the most part. I think 142 was the high print I saw. That's just kind of where the bidding goes back and forth. But since the market's opened, that euphoria has come off. I originally sold those 148 calls for 98 cents, bought them back this morning for 4 cents. And then in Amazon was the other one. If you talked to me or heard me talking in these daily market commentaries, you've heard me say Amazon could be taking over the world along with Google. A couple of stocks that I don't like to short: Facebook, Amazon, Google. and this was another reason. So I went in and shorted some puts in there, and I did the April 542.5 puts, sold them for $2.79, bought it back for a penny this morning. So that was a really nice trade. One of the trades that I've been keeping an eye on for Steve Primo's strategy 4 setups. I bought some calls in here, and I think they're the 170 calls in here, and I was very close to covering these. One nice thing about having options on is you don't have to be as quick. His stop, I think, was 164, and it did go down and trade below that. I think the low of the day is 163. What is it? 163.74. So it gives you a little bit of breathing room. You're not really like tied to that stop. I let it kind of breathe a little bit, and I'm going to hold on to that. But if it settles below that 164 area, that's probably where I'm going to, or looks to settle below that 164 area. That's where I'm going to look to cover that one. These trades have been working out so good. I was talking to these guys and saying, hey, we almost need a couple of these that become losers in order to have some talking point on the flip side as to when to cover these. Well, be careful what you wish for. This one started going bad as soon as we started talking about that yesterday, it looks like. But it's all good so far. If I get out of it, I have to get out of it. The win ratio is much better than the lose ratio on this strategy so far. So check that out. You can go to protraderstrategies.com, sign up for that. And then today's webinar is going to be it's going to be talking about long call spreads. The reason why we're doing the long aspect right now is because going into this for so long, we've had such low implied volatility other than these earnings trades. The earnings, have that binary event which inflates the volatility around that, but everything else has just had super low implied volatility. So it's been really hard to find some trades. Maybe if we start seeing a bit more of a sell-off, the VIX is starting to go up, we will see more volatility come into some of these trades or some of these underlyings that do not have earnings or have already had their earnings released, so that we can go back to selling some premium. But in the meantime, we got to keep moving and shaking. So I'm going to be talking about how to implement long calls and long puts into your portfolios. Today is going to be long calls. Next week we're going to be doing long put spreads. So stay tuned for that. You can go to protraderstrategies.com. That's all I got for you guys today. Hope you have a great weekend. And if you can't take that, take it easy.